Question 3. You have a hemisphere and a cylinder. And they tell you the hemisphere has a radius 3y, the cylinder has a radius 2y, and height h. Show that the total surface area of the hemisphere is 27 pi y square cm. So how do we find total surface area of a hemisphere? You will remember, right? And it's given in the formula sheet that sphere, the formula for surface area is 4 pi r squared. What about a hemisphere? A complete hemisphere. Ashas, if I want to find a hemisphere, what do I do? So given your formula sheet, surface area for a sphere is 4 pi r squared. What about hemisphere? Divide by 2, right? Or times half, right? And then? But you must remember something. You cannot just divide by half, right? If you cut a hemisphere, if you cut a sphere into half, what is exposed? This area now becomes exposed, right? So you cannot just tell me it is 2 pi r squared, right? Because I also need to add in this area over here. So when you cut a hemisphere, this area becomes exposed. And therefore, the actual surface area of your hemisphere is given by the formula 2 pi r squared because of the hemisphere. This is your 2 pi r squared. But there's also the pi r squared over here that is exposed. And so the actual formula for a hemisphere is 3 pi r squared. You don't need to memorize this, but you must at least know that you need to add back the circle. Okay? Therefore, my total surface area of hemisphere is equal to 3 pi r squared, which is 3 pi. What is my r? My r is given as 3y, right? And so if you multiply out 3 times 3 times 3 will give me 27 pi y square bracket show. Okay. I would write the unit here because they asked me to show that the area. I don't think they will penalize you for not writing the unit there. All right. Next. Total surface area of the cylinder is equal to the total surface area of the hemisphere. Find h in terms of y. So now I need to find the total surface area of the cylinder also, right? How do I find the total surface area of a cylinder? Caitlin, how to find total surface area of a cylinder?
Is it 2 pi r then bracket r plus h?
2 pi r bracket r plus h is the correct formula in a shortcut. Your school taught you the formula.
Yeah.
Interesting. Most students wouldn't do it that way lah. Why is it 2 pi r times r plus h? Because your total surface area of the cylinder consists of 2 circles, right? 2 circles means 2 pi r squared, correct? This is your 2 circles. But you need to plus the curved surface area, and your curved surface area is 2 pi r, which is the circumference, times h. Okay, and that's why you will simplify it down to 2 pi r plus h. So that is the shortcut formula that some schools teach. Is it necessary to know? Again, no. You just need to visualize how you can find the curved surface area, the surface area of a cylinder in total. That's good enough. Okay? And you must understand why the curve is 2 pi rh. I've shown you all this before already in primary school, if you were me in primary school. Right? If you look at the net of a, if you look at a cylinder, right? Why is the surface area of a cylinder like that? It's made out of 2 circles, right? And the curved surface area, right? What does the curved surface area look like? You see the circumference of the circle on top? The circumference of the circle is equal to the length of the rectangle. Okay? And that's why the curved surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r, which is the circumference, times h. All right? So you can see it easily with the net. All right, by right, that one, primary school, I should have shown you before already. Or Sec 1, if you were me in Sec 1, I would have shown it to you before. Now, therefore, I'm just going to use this formula. But again, like I said, it's not necessary for you to know the formula. You can also find it separately. Actually, I'm not going to use the formula. I just use it separately. So your total surface area of cylinder is 2 pi r square. What's my r here? My r is 2y in the cylinder. Don't forget that the radius is not the same. So the radius of the cylinder is 2y. So 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r times h is equal to what we found just now, which is 27 pi y squared. Okay, if you expand this, you will get 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8 pi y squared plus 4 pi y h equals to 27 pi y squared. Now, if you had done it the way Caitlin did, then she will have been able to directly do the cancellation. In this case, because we didn't do it that way, right? We won't do it by cancellation. First, what do? I can just move this to this side. You notice that this and this are the same, right? Right? This component and this component are the same, and therefore your 8 and 27 are just coefficient one. So if I bring it over, I just minus. Right? So 27 minus 8 will just give me 19 pi y squared. And now I can cancel, right? Pi will cancel each other out. Y will cancel 1y out. And therefore, I will be left with h equals to 19 over 4y. And that's the answer. Okay? You may have done it in a slightly different manner. It doesn't matter. You should get back the same answer regardless. Okay? Let's move on. Volume of the hemisphere is 500. Find the volume of the cylinder. To find the volume of the hemisphere and to find the volume of the cylinder, clearly I need what? Need to find y. So the whole purpose of telling you the volume of the hemisphere is to help you to find y. What is the volume of the hemisphere? The radius of your hemisphere is 3y, right? So volume of hemisphere is equal to, now a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Therefore, a hemisphere is just 2/3 pi r cubed. And they tell you this is equal to 500. From here, there's nothing better to do. You just divide away the 2/3 and you divide away the pi. So you just take your calculator, you take 500 divided by 2/3. you will get 27y cubed is equal to 750 pi. 750 out of pi, actually, no. Okay, I divide by pi, there's a pi in the denominator. Okay, and therefore that gives me y cubed is equal to 750 divided by 27, I will get 250 out of 9 pi. Whatever the case, I just want to find y, which will be cube root. Cube root doesn't require plus minus. So you will get y equals to 2.0678 in 5SF. I will just leave it in 5SF because it's a working value. Okay, once you find y, you can now go and find the volume of your cylinder because I have h in terms of y. So I only need everything in terms of y. Right? How to find volume of a cylinder? Volume of a cylinder is the same as the volume of a prism. Okay, so volume of cylinder is just equal to pi r square h. What is my h? I already found just now, 19/4y. Okay, and now I can sub in the value of y, right? So it's just pi times 2 times. Actually, what you should do here, right? What you should just do here is to save this value in your calculator, which I just messed up. Very good. What you should just do is to save the value in your calculator. I messed up because I pressed equal sign twice too quickly. That's life. So you save this as your value in your calculator, right? Then you just press your calculator now, pi times 2y square times 19 out of 4. Press the arrow first before you press answer one more time. Okay. So you can actually do some things to make your calculations using your calculator a little bit quicker, or you don't need to press so many things. And sometimes the more things you press, the more you'll get more likely to make mistakes, especially when you're pressing long strings. So here I just pressed like that, right? I just sub in basically I'm just subbing in the value of y using my calculator. And then I'll get 528 in 3SF. And that's the answer. Okay. So for 4 marks, look at how easy the 4 marks is. Okay, I think finding the value of y alone will give you 2 marks already. Then the other 2 marks is from finding the volume of the cylinder. In your exam, you don't need to write out the value of y. So if y is a long, complicated value, you can just write y and then use your calculator, go and evaluate. Is perfectly fine. Especially for those of you who take A math. Like they ask you find the value of the constant k or find the value of the constant t in your log equations, right? Your log real-world application questions. Right? You always have the e to the power of kt, that kind of question. Your k and your t are often not your k especially is often not a nice number, right? What you should just do when you're writing out the equation is to just write k. You don't need to write out the whole thing. Okay, so in this case, I don't write out the value of y. I just use that y. But I press the calculator using the value of y that I found. That makes things a lot faster and less likely for you to do funny things, like press your calculator wrongly. Okay,